Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Omega Given here. We're gonna see if we are live streaming. I just need to double check my audio. Omega Given here. We're gonna see if we are live. All right, cool. Well, I do hear audio, and I do have music in the background. So if you enjoy the music, then just enjoy the music while I talk. Else, we today are gonna be programming a little bit here in Python and trying to make this AI wrapper. So yesterday, was it that I live streamed? We left off with, we rearranged a bunch of our code. We modified our UI over below me, like right here below me / to the left of me, so it looks a lot better. But today we really want to work through the real parsing. I made a bunch of edits to my request to Ollama, the Ollama's AI stuff. But in that, I broke a lot of things. One, I broke the thinking true or false module thing. I broke the streaming thing, and I never got this implemented where it remembers chat history. So those are three big things that I want to see if I can fix today in this live stream. We'll see if we can do that all today and fix it and whatever. So we're gonna try to fix it. First, by doing so, I think I might literally use our own AI wrapper to ask for advice on how to fix it, because yeah. So let's ask for advice on it. So I have the following code for my interface for this AI wrapper, and I want to pass in all the necessary what do you call it, parameters to Ollama to get a formatted and to get the results of an AI response back. So we have this file. I'm going to feed it this file first, and then we're going to also feed it. Here is the actual payload to Ollama. This will be, and I'll paste the Ollama code right here that I have. So that way it can basically parse through all of this, and hopefully it will get me a response. I'm using DeepSeek 8 billion parameters. This actually might take a big chunk of time for it to do so. But in the meantime, while it's processing that and doing stuff, we will take a look ourselves and figure out what we see is the issue so far. So one of the issues is that it's not streaming properly. It's giving me the response outright everything. So we want to be able to figure out why it's doing that. So I basically threw everything into this function right here, setup UI, and as you can tell, it's a pretty long function. I probably should break this down if I could, which I might do that. I might do like a def sidebar right here. So def create sidebar. So I might do def create sidebar, and then what we'll do is we're just going to create, oh gosh, I freaking don't want it to do this. I gotta figure out how to get to not do that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do with sidebar blah 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 right here. We're not passing anything to any of this that we need to worry about, right? Yeah, I don't think we're passing anything. So we're gonna pull all this, put that right here. It's just, this is good, just code, you know, looks. I want to make sure our code looks decent. So we're gonna do create sidebar here, and then we're gonna pass create sidebar right here. So create sidebar, and then boom. That way it just splits up the code to make it a little bit more digestible, because right now it's not that digestible. So I'm gonna do that. What the frick? Why? I literally, it was correct, and then it edited it to not be correct, then it edited it to be correct again. I don't know if you guys just saw what just happened there. Kind of annoying that it just did that, but whatever, it works. All right, then user input area on the right column, or on the right side. So that's not really a column. So we want to display chat history. We want user input, and this one we might not be able to like split up, because this is kind of, or this is the juice and the meat and bones of this wrapper right here. This basically takes our user input from here and then append it to our message history thingamajig. Give me 1 second. I just got an important email and I need to check really quick. I might actually have to end the stream early. I might have to end this stream way early. Apparently, I just got an important email coming in that I might need to respond to and a call. But okay, well, I'll wait for that to come in. Then I'll just abruptly end the stream if that happens. Okay, so focusing back in on this, let's do title. All right, so we create the sidebar. Sorry, this is like totally caught me by surprise. I've been looking through a bunch of important emails that are very important for jobs and stuff like that. So that's why it got me distracted. But okay, so if input, we basically append our input to the message state, which is this thing right here, this big chunk up above here. We have my computer revving up, really trying to process this response. We'll see how it works. But we'll get that in a second. So with the chat message, I'm gonna do a markdown. This is kind of just like my computer's really going ham or something, because it just voltage checked my UPS. Something's going on. We'll let it do its thing though. Okay, so so we have the markdown. We got stream AI response. So with the chat message of this, we're gonna basically go on to create an assistant thing. So we're gonna response container, we're gonna empty it, aka we're gonna create a new container that we put the AI response in, but for chunk in AI stream. So we call AI stream passing in our selected model, our prompt from the user, any files, which is this think module, this stream module, wait, these are not defined. I just realized that those aren't usable. That actually might be why this is not working this entire time. Here, I might do this. Return. We need to return a bunch of things. Selected module, documents, text, think, stream, and remember history. Yeah, we want to pass all of those so that we can then use those. Actually, this isn't why it's breaking, but it's a good thing to have for that. So that makes it so all of these are now working. Yes. If remember history. Wait, what do we have? Yeah, we have if remember history passing to us. Yeah, we have remember history, else none. Okay, so we have it built such that we can actually receive all of these things and pass it on to us. For chunk and AI stream, context history, if remember history, else none. So this should pass through. If this passes through, we probably want to do a print statement on the AI stream side, so that here, let me save this for one. Save. I probably want a print statement on the AI stream side right here, just for debugging purposes. So let's do that. Let's do print. Let's do AI or so -f AI streamed in, or AI input. Let's do that. AI input using model blah blah blah, comma, prompt, comma, suffix, comma, blah 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 blah. Yeah, we basically want all of the things. I just want to print everything, so that way we can like really go ham at this. We might want to do like new lines on all this too. So we might just do like new line. Except for it doesn't do that too well. I can't remember. Can you do a print F with a doc, like a triple doc? Maybe you can. Let me try this. I haven't done this in Python. So I might do this where it's this triple doc. So this is, if you don't know, you can do this kind of thing in the dot or in Python, where you can kind of make a multi-line thing, and they call it a doc. I don't think it's specifically, I don't know the specifics if it's actually a string or not. It might not be a full string, and blah blah blah. All right, so let's Control S that, because this will make it so we can see if it's actually passing through. Because I do think that there might be an issue with the Streamlight library not actually grabbing these variables and passing them through. We want it to grab those variables and pass it through. So we see it right here, an AI stream. If we see an AI stream, then we do know what type it is, what format, or what it looks like. And then we can, from there, be able to figure out the payload and see what the payload has the issue with. Because that's my next line of issue of why, if it was breaking, it's probably going to either be what's passed in from Streamlight, or it's at the payload itself. And maybe the payload, if we do pass in one or more of these, it changes the type that that Ollama accepts, because in the Ollama documents or whatever here, it has like all these parameters, but I think if you don't pass in the parameter, it like defaults to something that is not seen, or it doesn't even have a default, so it doesn't even include that kind of thing. But since we're including at least a none, it includes that none, it might break some things. So maybe we might need to make a bunch of if statements, like almost make a switch, but even though Python doesn't really have a switch, we might make something similar to a switch to make this work. So with that said, we're gonna Control S. One, I kind of want to wait for this to come back with a result. My computer's going ham on this thing, trying to figure out this. I can literally, you can't, probably can't hear it. I don't know if I can. You guys can't hear the audio of the fans, but the fans are going ham right now. They're doing their thing. So we're gonna let it do its thing for a second here, and we'll check it there. I guess we could kind of start working on the payload idea of trying to get the payload right. Basically, so for this payload, we're creating a dictionary that will be JSONified as we're literally passing in as a JSON, or passing in a dictionary as a JSON. So I'm hoping that Ollama can convert that. And it most likely is converting, because we are getting responses on our AI. So it is converting the JSON just fine. But the JSON might be breaking because it's taking the wrong type in our own JSON, so that it breaks their JSON and results in who knows what, like lots of weird random crap. So we're gonna have to maybe figure that out. So we got print response. We got let me think. So I don't even know if we need the, oh wait, I just remembered. I think in some version of this, I'll pull up GitHub really quick. In some version of this, let me look at our commit history. Let's go back to add Linux instructions. I want to see the full source browse files. So if I look at Ollama, back here we added stream equals this. So we had the payload and the JSON separate. I guess this is me being ignorant in understanding how request library works. How does request post work? Or it's like, because what we're passing in here is we're posting to this URL, or here, the Python requests library documentation. Sometimes you just have to look at the documentation, like literally just straight up look at the documentation, because sometimes that documentation like does more. This is not the actual documentation, it looks like, but it might give me what I need. What I'm trying to look for is post. I want to look for a post. All right, so look at this. This person posts a URL, the data. They do post and data, and they have keys. Look at this. This person does JSON equals blah 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 and key. What's the difference between JSON versus data? This is something that I should probably learn a little bit more of how RESTful things work to make sure that we're passing in the correct one, whether it needs to be data or JSON or whatever. If you need to send JSON data, you can use the JSON parameter. When you pass JSON data via JSON, a request will serialize your data and add the correct content type header for you. Like you learned earlier, the HTTP bin service request. So that's why I'm like thinking this header isn't needed, because it's already just a type. So I don't think we actually need this header. That might be something that we mess with here. Also, is this done yet? This is just running forever. I did get fed like a couple hundred lines there. Is it a couple hundred? Yeah, it's a couple hundred lines. So maybe it's just taking forever to work through that couple hundred lines. Oh, I gotta love it when it's trying to work through a couple hundred lines of code. But you know, I could just here. What if I just Shift Control C all of this. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to feed this into Copilot, and I'm gonna see if maybe Copilot has an. Oh wait, my computer's winding down. Oh, look at that, 0 tokens. It broke. I think my response was too much. Maybe it ran out. It ran through a buffer thing that made it so it didn't work. I think that's what we ran through. Maybe my response is too much, or I need to break my response into multiple responses of some sort, or something like that. That'll be something. All right. Let me see. Okay, so I got a payload response thing. So this is Copilot. It's response of what it thinks I should edit my code to and such. So there's AI stream. So it wants DeepSeek. You got your prompt. You got context stream options. True. For AI stream for Ollama. Yeah. Suffix. So basically taking in a file. I think their code is weird looking. Okay, never mind. It's probably fine. So they're doing model. They're doing prompt. Options as ensure options is a dictionary. Oh. Wait. You're cutting out a couple of the things that I don't have. Did they change this line of code by chance? Let me look at this. Data equals the JSON. That loads. We take our count of token. This is just to see the speed at which it responds. We do a yield. Yeah, it doesn't change any of that. So it's just changing some of our payload. So I think there might be something wrong with our payload, but let's read it a little bit. Maybe it has some stuff. Refining your payload for Ollama. The current payload already covers the important parameters, but a few clarifications may be made. Think and format parameters. Ollama doesn't explicitly define how these should be structured. If they aren't required, remove them or explicitly set them to none. Ensure files are correctly formatted. You are passing extracted text into files, which works fine, but Ollama models typically expect additional context formatting. Handling options probably. If your model requires specific settings, example attempt to respond, ensure that they're in their options. Here's a clear test without necessarily fields. Think, confirm options. Okay. Maybe that's the issue we're having right now. I think we're passing through functions that even though the Ollama thing has these kinds of parameters, this might be outdated. When was the last time? This is 2 weeks ago updated. But maybe, just maybe, these for thinking models should be module. Here, let's try this. Let's try this. We literally have true or false. But we don't actually know if this wants to take in, think. It doesn't have any examples of that parameter used. So I wonder if that's just does not work. It just is something that's not supposed to be passed in. So let me do this instead. So we do set think to true, false, or none. I'm just gonna add some different selections here. Stream needs to be true or false. Remember history should be true or false. Okay, I'm gonna save that. It also recommended to take away, what was it? So it basically wants me to keep module, prompt, suffix, options, stream, and context. I want to keep files because files is specifically done for other things, but it takes away images, which will take that away, sure. So yeah, let's take images away. Let's take away, it wants me to take away think. I want to keep think on because I have gotten think to work in the past. So if think works, then it works. But we're going to set this default to none though, because if it's none, then we could probably just result in none. Format if, wait, no, not format. Where's think? If think else. I don't really need an else. I just want to think. If think else none. Oh, whoops. But the problem is I don't want it to be none. Unless it can take think. Because if it doesn't take think as an option, then it can break the payload. So we don't want to break the payload if that's the case. So we got format, we got options, it's stream, files we're using elsewhere. So I think it's just that one is the only one that really, yeah. Oh, it wanted me to take away format. Yeah, we can take away format. That's not a big issue. We can take away format and it won't break anything because we're not really utilizing it yet. All right, let me save this. And let's reload our Streamlight. Give it a second to reload. Okay, so that should have made it so we can now do none for think, which I actually want it. Yeah, we'll set it to none. Hi, how are you? All right, so this is what it's seeing right now. AI input, it's seeing DeepSeek, seeing prompt, hi, how are you? No suffix. Oh. We should put suffix, or we should put this print after we fix our suffix. That way we can actually see what the suffix turns out to be. See, look, think is on right now, even though I have think set to none. So this is the think all the way up to here. So this is basically the AI trying to process what you want to happen, or what it's like. It's trying to process your thinking in like a logical sense, like a human might think about, except for humans don't think like that too much. So yeah, that's gonna be a pain there. But finally, that's the real answer. So we do want think. Let's try this again. Think set to false. How are you? Stream is still not working. I don't know why stream is still not working. Think is still, this is why I don't like, think is still being set to false. I think this is where we add to the dictionary. We add to the payload as if it's a dictionary. Let me, okay, so what if we take away this, we just want the prompt, the model, the prompt, the options, the stream, and no context. This is like bare bones payload. This is basically what we're doing earlier, except yeah. We're just like messing with this a bunch. It's gonna take a bit to mess with to like see if this actually works the way we want it to work and such. Okay, so it's still responding. So I'm pretty sure if I did this stream equals stream right there, I'm pretty sure this will make it stream. Hi, how are you? Give it a second. There you go. Stream is now working again. The stream needs to be part of the post, not the payload. The JSON that it's thrown in. Meaning, I'm thinking this JSON, like if it accepts data. Let me look at the Ollama thing really quick. So this is their example of a stream of JSON objects is returned. This is the response. This is the request. You have prompt, model. But this doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to use this thing to make sense. It's not making sense. This is the curl. How do you get this to actually... Because if you look at it, it's just a dictionary. They're passing everything through as if it's a dictionary. When you make a post, like, how does it know the data to other things? Then you can use the Java parameter request serialized. I'm trying to understand this. Like, I could just accept it as is, fix it right now. I want to understand why we make a post, why it matters that we need to have stream be here and not here. Also, let's test something. If we set thinking or stream to false right here, and we just say, hi, how are you? Will it work? Will it still stream? It's not streaming. We fixed it. Okay, so really it's just that right there. Okay, so payload needs to not be part of the payload. Stream is over here, which makes me wonder if we set thinking in here as well. Think equals think, suffix equals, actually I don't think suffix. I don't know if suffix is gonna work how we think it's gonna work. Oh gosh, I just added everything. I don't want it to add everything. No, don't add everything. I'm doing one at a time right now. So we basically just want to keep the options. Gosh darn it, why is this being all weird? All right, so we got model, prompts, options. Let's rerun this thing. All right, now we can set think to false and it'll probably work. Hi, how are you? Oh, breaks. Why are we breaking? Kind of expected the keyword think. Ah, see? See, it doesn't know what think is. It don't know what think is. Meaning we do need think right here in the payload. This is black box programming for anyone that wonders. This is how black box. If think else none. If we pass none into our payload, will it just interpret none as just none and just be fine with it? Hi, how are you? So think should be false. So it shouldn't give us our think response. Shouldn't. It does give us our think response. So here, I'm just gonna manually set it right here. We want think to be false. I'm gonna save that. Rerun. Hi, how are you? I need to set a string to be true. That'll make this a lot easier to debug. Oh wait, look, think is gone. So why is it? Oh, because I get it. Why? I know why. You wanna know why? You wanna know why? You wanna know this ridiculous reason why it's doing what it's doing? It's because. Oh wait, no, it works. Wait. Why is it doing this to me? Think is true, but it's not passing through. We just had think. Think was just passed. Oh, I know why. I know. Okay. It's because think that we're passing in is a string, not a Boolean. So we need to pass the Boolean value into think. So we grab think from here, which comes over here. The think is set to true, false, or none. Wait a minute. If I just say true here, is that gonna just work? Hi, how are you? Breaks. Here in response. True. Hi, how are you? Oh, I'm still gonna rerun it. I'm so confused at why it's not picking up the parameter passed in as a Boolean value. Wait, it's not working right now. We just had it thinking. Now it's not thinking anymore. I'm trying to pass it into this payload right here. Black box programming, you gotta love it. Just... Wait. Oh. What the flip? When we pass in none, it thinks. When we pass it true or false, it doesn't think. What is the variable for think? The thinking response, the model. This is where I really wish they had examples. Black box programming, guys. You gotta love it. Is there a better doc? There might be a better doc for this. Benchmark, examples, import. I don't know. All the above. It's just not working too well for a favor. Okay, so let me just, what's this API right here? Generate a chat completion, create a model. This is just the same thing as before. API. Wait, examples. Trying to figure this stuff out. It's just being a pain in the butt to figure out. There's no good examples online. This is why you got to do all the front end work, or not. This is the forefront work of just getting to figure out this black box of stuff. And if I imagine it, whoever made this API, if they come back to me and they're like, hey, early, they would look at this and be like, what the flip are you doing? I'm like, well, your thing works if I pass in none. That's what I want, at least. If I pass in the other stuff, then it works. No? I don't know. It's just... I don't know. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to... Okay, reset this to think, yes. None. But... where we pass it in, the think, we want true or false. If think equals true, this is gonna be the most cursed code ever. If think equals true, think equals none. Else think equals true. Oh my gosh, this is the worst if else loop ever. Olama, I'm gonna put Olama doesn't take in true or false for think, but it does accept none as a acceptable parameter to think. That just makes no sense, but it does. I don't know. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. So we're just gonna rerun it. So now if we set think to true and we do hi, how are you, it should now think. But if we set think to false, hi, how are you, it will... Oh wait, what the frick? It just... Why is it working now? Why is it working? Oh. Think equals false. That's just... Okay, well, set think equal to false. Alright, control S, rerun. Okay, think you are going to be set to false. Hi, how are you? Like, I wonder if it's like, if it ever takes in a variable for think, like even if it's offered that think is a variable, then oh gosh, this is cursed. This is so cursed. I'm trying to get this to work. Okay, that was true. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a little if else statement here. I don't want to do it, but we're gonna do it. So we got payload and payload, right? I know. Don't give me crap about this. So if think equals think, else this. No, don't do that. Stop auto-completing. I'm smarter than you. I'm smarter than you, autocomplete. Don't think for me. Okay. We're gonna take away this. This is just cursed code beyond all curses. We should not have this code ever. Or delete all that code. Rewrite. All right, now, if think is set to false, how are you? It should respond with no think, and it responds with think. I wonder if I just need to refresh the page. I wonder if this is something to do with the module not. So we're gonna set think to false. Hi, how are you? Still thinking. Why is it still thinking? Set think to true. Hi, how are you? What? This is so cursed. If not equal to true. Okay. Is this like one of those things where I don't know if anybody's ever Wait. It's like negative programming language stuff. Basically, I've encountered this once before in like an assignment back in college, where basically, if not something, do this thing, but that something is true. So it's like this double negative meaning of stuff. So like, if think is true, do the opposite of it. It's this weird double negative thinking. I'm just saying think too much. Either way, we have fixed the think. We have fixed it. So now we can see it's thinking or not thinking. So we have made it work. Do we have AI? Wait. Does this work? Let's just see if that works. Do we fix the stream? Yes, we did. Now our next step is remember chat history. We want this to remember our chat history. I have no idea how we get it to remember chat history. Because all their examples are like the worst examples. Like, do they have anything that's like context? Okay, whatever this community is doesn't have squat. So we wanted to remember chat history. How do we get it to remember chat history? That's the real question that we must ask. One second, I'm looking at the email. Okay, our next step is we want to remember chat history. How do we remember chat history? I don't know at all, because their example is literally a list of numbers. Makes no sense to me. No idea what it means when it's like. So if you look at this, it says deprecated for one. So deprecated normally means it's not really actively being used. Like it's still there, but it's something that like they're not using. The context parameter returned for a previous quest to generate this can be used to keep a short conversational memory. So like, is this like reporting back to the previous responses? So like, maybe it takes in a response, because if we do look up, here, let's look up context. It has literally here an encoding of the conversation used in this response. This can be sent in the next request to keep. The final response in the string also includes additional data about the generation. This is the context of a response. I wonder, all of these are contexts of responses. We need one where it passes in, the request passes in the context, but all of them are responses. Context length is exceeded. Can you just add to a dictionary? I don't even know. Let me think. I don't want to say the word think ever again. Thinking, let's set this false. Or Python, how to add to a dictionary. I have a hard time spelling dictionary right now for some reason. I know it's probably just a append or something like that, or it's brackets and then like the key value pair. But I just want to confirm like the syntax of it because it's been a while since I like explicitly done it. I've seen it done. I just don't program it myself. It's more me editing other people's lines of code. Oh, flipping! All right, give me the result like crazy. I guess. Okay. So update. So this is how you update. A key value pair using square brackets. Yeah, this is what I'm used to. So actually, I think a better, cleaner way to do this. So if think is not equal true, I think what we do is we set our payload, right? We set our payload up here. Like pull it back again. Then what we do is payload think equals think. Get rid of this. Else. Or actually, we don't even need an else because the else is that. So we can just leave it at that. So much cleaner. So much cleaner. And we can now add further things in response. So if did we get rid of history? One second. Wait, let me go back to the top. We got formatting, we got options, which is like temperature and stuff like that. I don't even know how that temperature stuff, but that's something I'll have to figure out another time. System, template, stream, raw, keep alive, context. I think we want I'm gonna like literally like take no we need it in this order. Never mind. So we need to take suffix. So if suffix then we need payload suffix like that. Booyah. So good, so easy. If we don't have format, why is it? Wait, do we have format? We do have format. If format, include format. If context, this one's a little harder because context is going to be something completely different. So how do we, I'm going to save all that. We're going to go to UI. So we got remember history, right? We return remember history right here. Which we put here. If so, it basically context equals that if history else none. So theoretically this should work where it will. Wait, why did it not make me reload? There we go, rerun. Or yeah, rerun. So we want thinking to be true. We want to see it operating. We want it to remember our history. True. Hi, how are you? It's gonna break. I know it. It's just that's how it's gonna work. It's gonna break, or not. My favorite food is ramen. Do we have stream? Wait, is that stream defaults? I don't know why I said stream defaults. What is my favorite food? It doesn't have access to the previous chat. But if you look at this over here, context is blank. Even though we should be passing in context right now. Why is it passing in? Context equals history. History equals that. I'm appending to history right here. Why is it not? Do you know my favorite food? It's not remembering the context. Why isn't it remembering my favorite food? Or why is context blank? Context is this. History. Is history being reset every time? Print history. My favorite food is ramen. Okay. Look at this. It did remember that. What is my favorite food? It didn't pass in that. But it might be deleting. It's deleting stuff. So setting history up here is deleting the history. So we need to set history up here. Outside of the loop, so it's like a global. My favorite food is ramen. So, since I set it there, I printed that. What is my favorite food? Trying to get this thing to remember. Ah, there we are. Okay. That's what I've been expecting this whole time. So what's happening here is it's the key to response, aka it can't process the context. It doesn't know how to process the context. So I think we need to figure out what Ollama thinks the context should be. How does Ollama know what the context should be? Or their documentation sucks. So how do I learn this? Maybe I got to go to docs, troubleshooting, OpenAI, model file, Linux. Do they have anything here? Facts, examples. Examples might be good. Docker development. Benchmark API. Okay, this is like development of Ollama itself if you want to contribute to their open source thing, I guess. OpenAI compatible communities. Ollama Python examples. Let's go to their Python examples. Let me see. Chat.py, chat with a model. Generate text with a model. Let's go to generate. That's what we kind of been doing. This is not quite exactly what I'm thinking. No, because we're generating via some other stuff. Because we're not actually using their API, we're using their endpoint, like the HTTP web URL. That's what we're using. Their full documentation sucks. Oh gosh. They need to have the return type is or what the accepted stuff is. They just don't. I don't know what they expect of stuff. Generating structured outputs for a model. List all downloaded models and their properties. Display model properties and capabilities. Oh, enable thinking mode. Enable thinking mode from okay. What is this chat.py? All right, so simple that create. I want chat with history. Oh, hello. Okay, okay. Look at this right here. Messages. And then, so it's a bracket. User input equals chat with history. Response equals chat. Messages equals okay. Okay, this is how they want it structured. So they want it structured like this. They want. I found it. We have conquered this. So we're gonna do history. Append. Basically, here, I'm gonna redo this line right here. I'm gonna add this line below. We're going to bracket, comma, bracket. Wait, can you just plus equals? Is that a thing in Python? Is it a Python script? What the frick? Me totally don't remember how to do stuff. You can append a list onto a list. Way. Wait, you can do that? Dude, I'm learning things about Python I never knew. I think we're gonna try this. I wanna try this thing. Plus equals. Okay, roll. Okay, so we need. Actually, let's just copy and paste this whole thing right here. Copy and paste this. Copy and paste this. We need the role to be that, user assistant, etc., etc. Input, and then response needs to be response dot message dot contents. Wait, response. It needs to be AI response. Wait, where are they getting their response from? Equals. Yeah, this needs to be AI response. Delete this line. Did we just create history? We have created history. Yeah. All right, chat history said it true. My favorite food is ramen. Syntax error. Cannot access local variable history where it is not associated with a value. Wait, what? This is in UI components. Line 121. History. History. Wait, what? Unbound local error. Cannot access local variable history where it is not associated with a value. History is that. If remember history is from that. Do I have to be like global? My favorite food is ramen. History has its eyes on you. Come on, what the frick is wrong with this thing? I don't like this. It's just not fun. History, it cannot access local variable history where it is not associated with a value. What if I did this? I Control C here. And through history right here. But I get rid of this line, or no, this line right here. So it's just appending onto there. And this does the opposite, basically. What if I did that? I don't think it's anything to do with globals at this point. My favorite food is ramen. Now it's on 113. This line. It can't access history. But the thing is, this is not a one-time run setup. So if I put history in here, it's going to break. Or not break per se, but it's just gonna do weird stuff. the frick is going on? Main 118. Wait, what is going on here? Line 72 in Olama. Wait, why do I run this line? Token count is equal to length of data dot split. Why do we do a split right here? It was working before anyways. So like the split theology works. But if we get rid of it. Oh wait, no, this is the issue. Rame. Let me scroll down. Okay, what was above this though? Receive data error. JSON cannot unmarshal object into Go struct field. Generate context of type int. My favorite food is ramen. This will work though, because I'm not using the one thing. I think I'm running out of time here. I might need to end my live stream. I am seeing that there is an issue with the history stuff. We have fixed it so it can now stream and it can now think or toggle on and off think. So next is the history. We need to remember history. Once we have remember history, we can do so much. And I'll have to test the file check stuff at some point too. That's something I gotta do. I gotta like upload like a example file or something like that. Gosh, this is one long process of trying to get this thing to work. Just treating it like a black box because clearly it is not good at applying stuff. Like they have like the worst examples ever. Like here, let me click. Like this is their only example they have of something I'm trying to do. And it's in Python, which we're not using exactly full Python. We're using just responses and JSON stuff. So we have like while true. So it does like, hey yo, what's chat industry? What's your input? Response equals chat. Messages. I just noticed this is passing in something different. Wait. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They're passing in something different. Is there another variable that we don't know about? Will I understand the real reason why this is not working? Probably not. I think. Ooh, gosh. You know how hard this thing is to freaking understand when you have like barely any examples at all to do what you need to do. Chat with history. I don't need Olama Python examples. I need like so Olama. What's this? Clients? You know, this is where you really get into the nitty gritty of things, and you can actually like parse through what it's trying to actually do. Making iterators, okay. Huh. Wait. Olama Python. It has examples of how you use it. This is chat. Chat is from clients. We're like going really into the details of stuff. I'm looking for chat. Where's chat? Chat request, chat response. All right, here. Def chat. We have a bunch of different types of def chats. Gosh, this is poorly programmed. Wait a second. Look at this. Look at this. Think is bool. Optional bool, else none. Hmm. I'm gonna have to like really parse through this later and figure out how this works in the Python end. Because if I can figure out how this works in the Python end, I might be able to decode it and make it work in my end, which is a different approach that I so far don't know if anybody's done yet. But it's really cool to figure out new ways of doing things because then you understand things even better than other people. And all we're really trying to learn here is we're trying to learn how to become the best of the best, right? Something like that. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna end the live stream here. It's been an hour, 18 minutes of a live stream, and I gotta go and decompress my brain because my brain's been fried. And we actually made good progress on like getting some of this stuff to work. So we actually have these things on the side actually working now. And we've decoded a bunch of how it passes through stuff. So yes, like and subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. Come again for next time. We're gonna try to keep doing this until one, I have free time in the middle of my days nowadays. But that might not happen in the near future, so that might go away, and then we'll have to figure out another time to do this. Maybe we'll do this late night. I don't know. I need sleep though, sleep and work, because yeah. So we'll figure out how that stuff goes down. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.